the official. Let's get into it, guys. This is the Kesik's Dirty Drunken Nightmare Show. We're here with DirtNap, DrunkAssassin, and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Uncle, for a part 1 exclusive here on Good Friday.
Amen.
Bro, are you ready for this? You're in the land of the lions right now. You ready?
I'm ready when you're ready, brother.
Let's go, bro. It is. First off, it's a pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to be here. Very excited to meet you guys and speak with y'all. I know you guys are somewhat newer players, so I'm very pumped to go on here and talk with you guys.
Man,
yeah,
we
really appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate you allowing this. You want to go first, man, or you want me to shoot first?
No, man, I'm your guest, so I don't usually let others lead me along, but I'm giving you the opportunity.
Bro, I greatly appreciate that.
So first off, Uncle, just wanted to ask, how's your Easter going? Find any good eggs?
It's good, man. I think I'm up 14 right now.
Dang, I'm jealous.
So.
Yeah, man, I saw that yesterday. I guess I'll start off with this, man. You know, you've been in the game for what, 9 years, 9 months so far now?
That's right.
Almost damn near a decade. What's it been like, man, watching the change of the times? Coming from a new player standpoint like myself, I'd love to know.
So, yeah. So, when I joined the game, I actually didn't really play for like a few years properly. I was like such a noob. Like I didn't really know how to play Torn or whatever. I actually learned about the game from another friend of mine that I played another text-based game in. And it's like nothing. It's a very small game, so I don't even want to mention the name. But it's when I came on, it was deer in the headlights, and I just kind of did what every newer player did if they were dumb. I just like joined the first faction I could and played the game horribly, right? And after a few years, I decided, all right, you know what, I'm gonna actually take this game a bit seriously and like log in and like get to know everyone. And I joined a faction called PT. I'm sure you guys know who they are.
Yeah,
and I met my longtime friends that I'm still friends with now in that faction. That was like around the time Discord was kind of getting popped off. So Discord was popping off. We started I started learning more about Torn and all the social aspects of it. I didn't really know the forums like that well yet, but I started kind of getting my feet in. And then I was there a few years. Like, I started getting more involved in leadership, starting to get to know everything. And I actually won like as one of the leaders of an elimination team. Like right when elimination was getting released, it was called Team Cupcake. And like I'm just like this noob that's like following along the coattails of two other guys that one of them I'm really close with. But unfortunately, RIP, the guy got feted, unjustly. And yeah, we won elimination, and then all of a sudden, I got kicked out of PT a few months later because of whatever the BS the leaders accused me for. And then an hour later, PT, there was the first World War, which this was like in 2019, so this was years ago. It was called the Insurgency War, and I released my first like major forum post, and it got like 200 likes, and it was all about how like terrible PT was a faction, and they were getting like hammered in the war. So my thread ended up turning into like a anti-PT war thread, and that's how I kind of got my groove in. There's a lot of other stuff that happened between that, but like I didn't really like get into like my prime, I guess if you call it my prime, until like years after that, when I sold a business in real life and decided, you know what, like I have some extra cash, I'm gonna go ahead and spend money on a video game that I've never really spent money on a video game before in my life, but I decided to, and the rest is history.
So kind of like a smoke 'em if you got 'em thing, and you just ran with it after that.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like anything, right? Like, it's not an overnight success. After 9 years, it's a lot of like grinding and hustling and understanding, how the whole thing plays. And people think that playing Torn just means clicking buttons, but the Torn I play is a social, masterclass game of politics and just a lot of backroom talk and a lot of backstabbing and a lot of just a lot of politics, man. And I'm not saying that I'm like a backstabber or anything like that. I actually, honor my word, but a lot of people in this game are not in that position to do so. Um, and we got to where we are right now because of just honoring our word. You know,
I
so
respect that, man. People are only as good as their word.
amen to that.
So let me ask you this, brother. Because it is hard for somebody like me to fathom somebody like you ever being a noob, because everybody on Torn knows who Uncle is. It doesn't matter if they know you directly, they know of you. They know who you are. Who is the most influential person in this game that impacted you the most?
Oh man, I was talking that whole time. Dang. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, brother, we hear you now.
All right. My bad. Um, so yeah, the person that really helped me, that I guess I looked up to, is a guy named OVOXO. I'm sure you've heard of him. If you haven't, then you should look him up. His old name was Hotshot back in the day. Everyone knows him by HT. But he got feted and he's probably the biggest, my closest friend, the guy who really taught me how to play Torn and showed me the ropes on what it takes to be great. Um, but yeah, he's the guy that I definitely look up to in the game for sure.
Definitely, man. That's awesome. Drunk, you got a question? Or I mean, I can keep
Yeah.
firing it all day, man.
Yeah, I do actually have a question for him. So I want to say like a year ago, like there's supposed to be like another island war, right? And I believe Monarch was saying that they didn't want to do another island war until the territory warfare was changed. Is that correct?
I mean, I guess the political answer is, yeah, we don't want a war again if the mechanics don't change up, but I mean, in reality, we're always down to war. We don't care what the mechanics are, right? But again,
100%.
we have allies and we have alliances and we have a lot of different people that we have to cater to, right? Like it doesn't matter what my interest is anymore because I lead an alliance of literally 100+ factions. If I look at the bigger alliance, it's almost 200 factions, and that's nearly what 15,000 players, right? So I can't just do things because I want to. I have to look after everyone else. So yeah, we're not going to really war if the mechanics are as they are now. But if someone wants to, find out, um, they will find out clearly and quickly how well we do not want a war or how well we do want a war. You know.
I mean, that's very fair. So I just wanted to get back into that, like what mechanics would you like to see change?
Well, I mean, one of the biggest issues during territorial warfare is the fake wall, paradigm where everyone will fake wall and just bore everyone to oblivion, and the way that warring is right now, like a lot of people, they don't really participate in a meaningful way. Like there's a lot of bigger few battles, like there's not many real small battles that would make sense, you know? So like movement and fake walling and all this other stuff, it limits the ability to kind of march around and take things over in a more strategic way that isn't relying on like just, a defensive position. You know what I mean? Like it's really territorial warfare is more defensive than offensive. Um, so it's way easier to defend. Um, Now, I mean, unless you just really suck like JFK, where the Westworld Alliance took out 300 territories in 9 days. Like they just didn't know how to war, so we really like destroyed them pretty easily. But outside of that, if it's more fair, then the defensive position will win all day.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we definitely saw that with natural selection being able to kind of just bunker down pretty well. I was very disappointed that I was not here due to real life stuff for that.
I feel that. You might hear a lot of background noise because I'm walking to order something real quick, but I'm still on. Okay.
No,
yeah,
you're
definitely,
good.
brother. No worries at all. So I have another one, man. Somebody who's achieved so much as you've already achieved in this game. What's left, bro? What's some of your greatest achievements?
I ask myself that every day.
I gotta know, man. Inquiring minds want to know what's next for Uncle.
I think that what the stuff that I'm doing with you guys right now means a lot to me. If you look at the past since the beginning of this year, there's been 10,000 new active players that log in daily into Torn. It's been the largest increase ever in the history of the game. So the future of the game is definitely growing. I think that with me, like by interacting with players and getting to know new ones and making sure that they work with us, or that we make sure Monarch is strong and long lasting. I think that that's important to me. I tried to quit multiple times lately, unsuccessfully, and even when I did try to quit, I mean, the faction still Monarch still survived even without me, which is for a lot of people that might be kind of threatening, but for me that made me happy, because I'm like, that means that I can step back and I don't have to worry about everything crumbling. But yeah, I mean, I want Monarch to succeed. I want Westworld to succeed. I want our friends to succeed. And I think that by working with the new player base that's growing, that's really cool. And I obviously want to increase my stats. Why not?
Yeah, and
Yep.
it just shows, your leadership. If it can survive without you, like you've done a good job as a leader.
Yeah, I like to think so. Hey, give me 1 second, gents. Okay, hold on.
No worries.
All right, sorry guys.
No
No, you're
problem
good,
at all,
man.
brother. So, kind of walk us through, man, the building of Monarch itself. Like, where did all this stem from? And did you ever believe or think, when this was first happening, that Monarch would be anything that it is now?
Yeah, so a little quick fun history about Monarch. Monarch was created with the single goal of doing this. So I wasn't around when Monarch was first formed. Monarch was formed through a merger of two factions before. Well, not just two, but like three or four. Uh, and I joined Monarch when before they tried to go after the island the first time, but like let's say like maybe 6 months or 6 months or so after they merged and created Monarch. Um, it was led by a guy named Hank. He's a good guy, but he's more inactive now. And Monarch was basically a derivative of like Relentless, whichever is a very famous faction. Mentos and Cola, which is another famous faction, and Helvete, which is not, maybe some people know Helvete, which is now Monarch Research. But yeah, Monarch was created with the sole goal of being the best family faction in the game. And not a knock to like my old, my teammates in my old leadership team or whatever, but they tried and they failed to war, against the best faction at that time, which was Natural Selection, and their alliance. And Crypto CR and PT formed Crypto. They teamed up because as a reaction against Monarch being formed. Uh, so, Monarch was designed to be the best, and not again. Now I knocked my old precedent, preceders, but it wasn't the best until Champ, OVO, and I took over Monarch.
I mean, that's fair. Change of leadership. Clearly, you had a good leadership team. I mean,
I think it's a lot of
however
lessons
many players
learned,
you said.
It's
Yeah.
lessons learned and and I mean, you always do well when you work with a really good team. And I have an amazing team, right? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a rookie when it comes to leadership. Like I run a pretty large business in real life, and I'm pretty successful with organizational management and people management, and like that's my role I play on the team, right? Everyone plays their role. And I'm not saying my other leadership team were bad in their role. I just think that it was incomplete, right? And and sometimes you just need a change of face to achieve greatness,
Yeah, definitely.
Different styles produce different results, and it seems like y'all have found the style. Where do you see Monarch in the next 5 years?
Yeah, I think Monarch, I mean, in the next 5 years, I mean, JFK ran the game for 10 years, right? Natural Selection were formed in 2019, and they're still on top of the game. It's been, 6 years for them. Monarch started in 2021, and it's been 4 years for us, right? I mean, God forbid if I'm still on this game, then I'll still be at Monarch, and we'll still be running the show. But, I mean, I think that, it'd be naive to think that we'll always be the best forever. But I think that as long as I'm, playing the game, we're going to always try to be the best. And I think that's, that's the goal, and that's what it will be, because I like to hit my goals.
Definitely.
Very
I mean, you don't
respectable.
always want to be the best in a game like this. It definitely, I feel like, would make it more fun if people do try to challenge you.
Right.
That's just
And
my opinion.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you want a healthy competition base, but I'm not gonna handicap myself because my competition sucks. Like, get better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Definitely. So, man, heavy lies the head that wears the crown. What is some of the most stressful positions you've been put in since being leadership of Monarch and the Westworld faction, or the Westworld Alliance, I should say?
I mean, honestly, the stressful positions were when we actually decided to war, right? Like the easiest and best times I've ever had were after the war, because we had all the clout and all the, we everyone we now knew we were the best, right? I think the stressful positions were when we were actually fighting and attempting to be the best. I haven't had any issue with maintaining it. Um, that's me personally, right? Maybe others might, disagree, but I don't really have an issue with maintaining being the best. I think that I live, I best live in times of chaos and when we're the underdog. So if you put me in a position where we're threatened, or we have to go and try to prove ourselves or whatever that may be, I think that that's where I love to be at. But at the same time, those are the hardest times to be in.
I mean, that makes sense. Go ahead,
I
Dirt.
completely understand that. Like hard times create hard man. So I like where your head's at. Getting to
Yeah,
actually show
man.
that you're the best and prove it, bro.
Yeah,
Who would you say would be your toughest opponent that you faced so far on your way up the ladder?
my toughest opponent that I faced so far up the ladder,
Yes, sir.
myself. Because I mean, again, like, dude, like, I don't really have competition, man. It's
Bro, I
always
cannot
internal
tell you
battle.
how much I love that answer. Wow.
I mean, dude, like, it's real, right? Like, I don't really look at if you have to battle yourself, bro, and you have to go the extra mile for your own self, right? Like, I don't know, dude. No, I don't really have competition anywhere else, because I have a great team and I believe in myself, and the only way I'm going to fail is if I either fail myself or if my team fails, which is still a derivative of yourself. So
Spoken like a true
Yeah,
leader.
I really appreciate. Yeah, like they were saying, like I really appreciate your leadership in taking accountability for if your team messes up. Like you're acknowledging that that's ultimately on you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way you have to be. So
Jay Braga is one of my faction leaders. He's spoken very highly of you, and I can kind of see why. You and I have spoken a little bit when when Iron Fist had one of their factions stolen by, I believe, Mad Dog was his name, and I kind of hate you as a joke. Because obviously I got my ass handed to me. Um, but Jay Braga has spoken very highly of you, and
yeah,
I can see
Jay
why.
Braga is really dope. I really like him.
Yeah, he is.
Insurrection, right? Or did he? I think he merged.
Yeah, so we merged with Imminent Apocalypse. So
Yeah,
Easy E.
yeah, Easy's dope. IA was like when they decided to join us, that was a huge win for us because we really liked them. Because they were our opponents for a bit, and then they wanted to join the good side. But yeah, no, I mean, Jay Braga is a really close friend. Wish I could talk to him more, but just life happens, right? But
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
he was one of the leaders in our war, and his loyalty will never be forgotten.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jay Braga's a really cool guy. Helped me out a lot, especially recently. And just being part of Westworld is cool.
Yeah, Westworld's great. We don't have a lot of many. We don't have many rules. Everyone is their own. I mean, we have Westworld games coming up. If you want to kind of make that like your little, your tagline for the title, like Uncle Talks Westworld games, because we want to promote that. We want to get a lot of participation. Last year during Westworld games, we did about I think like $35 billion in prizes, which is unprecedented.
Jeez.
I want to maybe do up to $50 billion in prizes this year. Um, but yeah, we're rich now, so
So
why not spread the wealth?
So talk to us a little bit
definitely.
more about that, man. Let us what is
Yeah.
Westworld Games? I'd love to know more about that as well as a new player.
Yeah, so Westworld Games is basically what our alliance throws for its members, where we have people that the factions register, and then the members of the factions can play. Where we have all these events going on, and there's like a leaderboard, and they're really cool events. It's not just like attacking events; it's like games and like trivia or like what all this other stuff, and we're just throwing money left and right everywhere. So it's it's more, it's kind of like a give back to our alliance members, and it kind of keeps the blood flowing, keeps the activity high, and reminds everyone that Westworld is the best alliance in the game. So
Definitely. I've ran across a few Westworld members, and all of them have been great. Leonidas, I believe he is in Monarch, under one
yeah,
of the sub
that's right.
branches.
Yeah,
Leonidas.
so
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say one thing about Monarchy is we don't really have sub branches more so than like sister branches. But yeah, leader Leonidas is he's one of the leaders of Monarch Mutation, which is in a faction I'm currently leading right now. For, but he's a really cool dude.
Yeah, man, definitely. Excuse me about that sub faction sister branch. I love that everybody has an equal head at the table.
That's right.
Another great quality in leadership. Um, King Abs, another
King
amazing man.
Abs is a homie. He's a
King
homie.
Abs, King Abs is the homie. He taught me a lot about graphics as well. Welcomed me with open arms.
That's awesome.
Giskard, I've spoken with Giskard. Really awesome.
Oh, okay. RG, I call him RG. RG
RG,
is a very old and dear friend of mine. Um, guys, obviously the best player in the game. So we're very, very grateful that he is part of our team.
Piccolo. Do you know who Piccolo is? Of course you do.
Piccolo is part of our leadership team. Yeah, he's awesome as well.
Another great man. So I've had a lot of run-ins with the Westworld Alliance, and all of them have welcomed me with open arms, which is, I won't say I'm lucky, man. I'll say I'm blessed. I've been very blessed in this game to meet amazing people.
Well,
You are on
it
that
is
list as
Good
well now.
Friday, so I like that.
It is Good Friday, so I'm going to use that term. We're not lucky, we're blessed here.
Amen.
Amen, brother. I know we touched base on Iron Fist. Do you want to run into that a little bit and kind of tell us what was going on with that whole spiel, or you want to save that for a later date?
It's your interview, brother. You ask the questions and I answer.
I'm humbled by you, man. I appreciate you so much. Kind of delve into that with us, man. What happened with the Iron Fist and all of that? You know, there's a lot of talk and speculation around the forums, but I like to hear it straight from the sources because that's the only credibility that matters.
Right. I mean, again, like, you know, it's been going on for, man, I feel like it's almost been a year, but it's only been a half a year. It all started when he was getting scammed out of a faction and I helped him go like retrieve it. And then it turned into a fetting. And then I, as a favor, I was like, all right, well, I'll stay here and get your faction for you instead of let the faction die. And it somehow turned into basically him just getting absolutely annihilated on the forums and from people that he trusted, and then from that we ended up finding out because you have to mind you, like Rifty was like a core leader of Westworld, right? And like a homie, like a close homie, you know. And we ended up finding out that the guy's has been basically leaking state secrets to girls on e-girls online. And mind you, yeah, you know, one of the e-girls was an ex-wife of mine, but you know, I'm not, as everyone knows, I'm not like a guy that is all serious all the time. You know, I like to have my forum troll fun as well. And so, yeah, you know, I basically made Anna who she was now, but making her relevant by marrying her. And I guess he took her a little bit more seriously than I did, and it got him in trouble, right? So stay away from those e-girls, kids. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you know, like he got bamboozled basically, and I had to basically go bail him out yet again, even though I didn't want to. I wanted him to go kick rocks, but you know, I think the good Christian in me decided to go ahead and help him out. So I got his faction back and gave it back to him, no strings attached. And he still is trying to somehow save face and blame everything on, you know, the big bad uncle, right? But at the end of the day, you know, people know what's up, and he has a history of doing this for many years, even before Westworld. And he, you know, his enemies are very, very, very deep and far and wide. So, you know, I guess it's karma or just desserts or however you want to call it, but you know, he got what was gotten for him. So that's it.
Definitely. Drunk, you have any more questions for the man?
Not really. I did just want to say that real fast. Do you know the name Preebles? Used to be known as Dua Lipa.
Oh yeah, Kriebels is a homie.
Yeah,
I
she
don't know,
was in a
man. You know,
company that I
I
bought.
got a lot of homies. If you notice, like, dude, like I know a lot of people because I don't like to just hide behind like, you know, my closest friends. Like I like to, you know, I
Yeah.
mess around on Global a lot, or I'm on the forums. I give people dap, whatever. Like, you know, yeah, Kriebels is a name that I recognize and I've interacted with, and he's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. They were in a company that I owned, something like 2 years ago, and mentioned that they knew you.
Cool. Yeah, Kriebels is someone that I know for sure.
That's all I got for right now. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Dirt, you
Yeah,
got anything
same here.
else?
I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. I want to thank you again for stepping in here with us, especially on the spot and just delving in some things. Guys, Westworld Games coming out soon. You heard it from Uncle himself. Brother, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, you know, shout out to my Westworld leaders and Monarch leaders and anyone who's listening, right? Like, you know, Monarch is always open for recruitment, and you know, especially me at Mutation, you know, we're building that up, and but yeah, you know, love for you to let me do my plug, and if you want to do Westworld games, just ask a Westworld faction leader, and you can join up even if you're not on Westworld. So that's
I
it.
appreciate that much. I appreciate that. Guys, Uncle, part 1, he will be back.
Fetch me their